This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
All right, well, Pooja and I finally got together over the weekend, and, well, it got weird.
Why did it get weird?
Oh, really? Why did it get weird? You and Paul, arguing till 10:30, and I'm just sitting there on the couch in between you two?
It wasn't a real argument, but it
felt like it.
It got a little spirited, I will say.
We were might have been because there were spirits involved for all of us.
We were rehashing an argument about laundry because I used to do my husband's laundry for him. He does nice things for me. He makes me breakfast. I do nice things for him. One of those things was laundry. And here's the thing. I would do his laundry and then I'd put it in the dryer. And then sometimes I'd, wait a few days. Sometimes up to a week.
A few days?
Up to a week before I would fold it.
Up to a week?
Yes.
Is he just naked for that week?
No,
what do you mean? The man needs clothes.
He would just have to walk over to the dryer and so it's done. It's clean. It's just sitting in the dryer and it wasn't folded. And he has a problem with this because he's like, you're not really helping me.
He has a problem with this because he lives in the real world and he needs his clothes in less than a week.
Yes. And so he's like, thank you for doing my laundry, but do the full job or don't do it at all. And I thought you should just be happy that I'm doing it.
Right. And that's fine, but not when it's Saturday night and we're watching the Leaf game and you guys are on opposite couches and I'm in the middle and I'm just trying to eat pizza and wings that you were kind enough to order. And this started off as I don't even know how we got on the topic of laundry. Next thing I know, you guys are going back and forth and I'm like, should I just leave? Should I just get up and walk out? This is super weird. But instead...
You kept saying it's interesting how we have very different versions of the same story. Like when he was telling the story, I'm like, that's not true. That's not the way it went. And when I was telling the story, he was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, because you were saying I leave the laundry in the dryer for a little while before I do it. And he's like, a little while? A little while? It's up to a week.
It's all relative. To me, a week is just a little while. I've got other things to do.
And your husband's a lawyer, by the way. So immediately when you two started debating in my head, I'm like, oh, Pooja must lose. This is like an insight into your relationship. I'm like, this must happen all the time. And you must lose all these debates because he's a lawyer. And you are not.
Gurdeep, there's no such thing as winning and losing in a marriage, okay?
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. Step one. So I decided to appoint myself arbiter of this situation and just sort of jump in. Mm-hmm. And I heard both your points. And shockingly, I ruled with you.
Yes.
And I said, Paul, look, I feel you. A week is too long. But here's the thing. If you want something done right, do it yourself. I think if that's too long for you, and I agree that you're going to do the laundry, do the whole process. But I said, Paul, you got to do your own laundry if you don't like the way Pooja's doing it. And then it reminded me of an argument about breakfast you guys had on this show a while ago. You didn't like the way he was layering your yogurt granola parfait thing.
Wrong order.
So I think both of you just need to do it yourself.
Okay.
You make your own breakfast. Paulie does his own laundry. If you want it done right, do it yourself.
Totally agree. He does his own laundry and he still makes me breakfast. That's what I heard.
And listen, I was stuck in the middle. This was weird, but it had me thinking, have you ever had to be the arbiter in a friend's argument or relationship?
Was it that awkward for you?
A little bit. I was just trying to watch the Leaf game and eat some pizza.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Okay, have you ever had to be the arbiter in a friend's argument? And how did that go? And this happened to me on Saturday at your home, Pooja. After 2 years, you finally invite me over for Leaf game and pizza and wings, which was lovely. But sometime around the third period between the Leafs and the Avalanche, you and Paul started relitigating this thing that happened in your relationship where you do his laundry and he didn't like that you don't fold the laundry right away out of the dryer. Mm-hmm. And then you didn't like how he makes your breakfast granola parfait. And I had to hear all of it.
I didn't realize that it impacted you so much. I thought we had a great time.
It went on for the whole third period. I'm just trying to eat. And the way you were on one couch on the left. He was on one couch on the right. I was in the middle.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm looking back and forth like a tennis match. Da-da-da. And I'm just trying to eat some wings and watch the Leafs.
But in the end, who did you side with?
Really neither of you. I was basically do it yourself. I'm like, if you don't like the way Pooja does your laundry, she's doing you a favor by doing your laundry. Do your laundry yourself. And Pooja, if you don't like the way he's layering your yogurt parfait in the morning, guess what? Do it yourself. Make your own breakfast.
When you put it like that, it seems obvious.
I thought you were going to lose because Paul's a lawyer, but I'm glad as a neutral third party, I was able to step in and settle it for you.
And, people have been in those situations where they had to be the arbiter in a friend's argument. And we're asking you for those stories. We're getting a lot of texts to 981-981. Jason from Mississauga saying, I try to mediate a debate between my best friends about whether a hot dog is a sandwich.
Classic.
I lost both friendships and gained a migraine.
Wow. Yeah, these things can really get out of hand pretty quickly.
Getting a lot of texts at 981-981.
Jasmine from Vaughan texting in. My two roommates had a full-blown screaming match about whether to put ketchup in the fridge or the pantry. Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, I actually don't know what the real answer is.
Jasmine says, I ruled in favor of the fridge, and now I'm not allowed to attend our movie nights.
See, that's the problem. Because eventually you take a side. You took mine, by the way, in my argument.
Well, I don't know. Okay, anyways.
You take a side, and when you take a side, that could cost you your friendship.
By the way, what do you do with ketchup?
I put it in the fridge.
Yeah, before it's opened, I'll leave it in the pantry, but
Same.
once it's open, refrigerate.
Me too.
Right?
And I'm pretty sure that's what the label tells you to do.
Well, Jasmine lost a friend over it.
Mark from Scarborough writing us, my parents asked me to settle an argument about the right way to load the dishwasher.
Oh, no.
I moved out instead.
I swear I've never met two people who load the dishwasher the same way. It's like, no two snowflakes are the same.
Yes.
No two people load the dishwasher the
It's
same
so
way.
true. And everybody thinks their way is the most optimal way.
Like people will reload it if you try to do it for them. One more here. Lisa in Etobicoke says, my fiance and his mom fought about whether to put milk in tea before or after the hot water. I refused to answer, faked a phone call, and left the room.
That's a tough one. Again, that's a choice. How do you do it?
I put it in after, but I mean, I'm not opposed to putting it in before. Like, who cares? It's all mixing together.
Who cares?
But it's all mixing together. Like, what's the difference?
Just wait till I make your tea that way. You'll care. You'll care. Eric from North York writing, my coworkers asked me to settle an argument whether a burrito is a wrap or its own category.
What?
I said, who cares? Just eat it. And they both turned on me.
Wow, that's like the evolved version of is the hot dog a sandwich or or a hot dog?
I'm with you, Eric. Who cares?
Who cares? Just eat the burrito. Priya in Markham texting and saying, my grandparents argued about whether you should butter toast before or after cutting it. What? I ruled in favor of my grandma, so now my grandpa calls me a traitor at family gatherings. Wow. Butter, I don't know.
Why would you?
I don't actually know. After?
You should butter your toast before or after cutting it.
I guess-
Before.
I'm going to say after.
What?
Oh, gosh. Traitor. Okay, let's move on. One more.
Samantha and Pickering saying, my brother and his wife fought over whether the toilet paper roll should go over or under. I know producer
Oh,
Steph
this is
has a
Steph's,
lot to say about it. I said, whichever way it lands after I restock it, chaos ensued.
I'm actually with Samantha. I put it on. Sometimes it goes over, sometimes it goes under. And guess what? It doesn't matter.
I agree.
Who
I agree.
cares?
What?
Yeah.
Why are...
Because you can't pull it properly when it's coming
here
from
we go.
underneath.
Here we
and
go.
it breaks before you fully pull it out.
Like pulling toilet paper is not that hard.
No, it really doesn't
not about it
matter.
being hard,
And you know
it
what, Steph?
doesn't
I think
roll
of you
properly.
every time
Do you? That's
I'm on the
great.
throne and I
That's
see it the wrong
wonderful.
way. I'm like, Steph would hate this.
I'm so glad that's what you think of me.
See, now she's never going to invite you over to be a part
Steph,
of that
if
debate.
I ever come to your
And
place,
you change my toilet
guess
paper
what I'm going to do
roll?
in an
No.
afternoon.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
There's no I in team day.
Oh, I wish this were the case. But how about this story? Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. You heard of Josh Allen, right?
Yes,
the quarterback.
he was MVP.
Yeah, that's right. He went to the conference championship. He's engaged to Haley Steinfeld. He's one of the most famous players in the league. So he just re-signed with the Buffalo Bills this week for a pretty penny, $330 million over 6 years.
Wowie.
It's a lot of money, but he could have got way more. The feeling around the league is he could have signed for much more than this if he really wanted to take Buffalo to the cleaners. He decided to take less, and he was asked about why he did that yesterday. Have a listen.
When you start getting these fairly big numbers throughout the entire league, it's weird to say this, but what's five more going to do for my life that I can't already do right now, right? So it's not that crazy to me, right? Like I live a pretty good life, got a house, got a car, we're good, but I wasn't looking to absolutely kill them in every chance that I could. And I told my agent that. I was like, hey, if this has any impact on the cap, figure out a way to not do that.
What?
So he could have taken 30 million more, like 5 million. When he says 5 more, that's 5 million more a year times 6 years, 30 million more. But he's like, I'm good. I got a car house. I got Haley Steinfeld. Life is good.
Wow. Does that ever happen? Don't athletes just go think about their shelf life, right? And in fairness, they can only play for a certain number of years. They're only going to be this young and this athletic for a certain amount of time. And they want to make as much money as possible because they're going to retire.
And immediately the first thing I thought of, you're so right with that. The first thing I thought of is right here at home in Toronto. You got the Blue Jays and Vladdy squabbling over a few $1 million. And it's getting ugly, that story between the Blue Jays and Vladdy. It's probably only going to get uglier. You got the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hello, Maple Leafs, you listening? Mitch Marner, William Nylander, Austin Matthews. I love these guys, but they have taken the Leafs for every penny, And it probably is going to happen again with Mitch Marner this summer, or he'll just leave and go somewhere else where he can make more.
So does this speak to Josh Allen's love for Buffalo and the Buffalo fans? Or just like this real desire because they came so close to take them to the Super Bowl?
I think he got a taste of it. They were so close, and the less he takes, the more they'll have for everyone else to, I don't know, maybe build a good team around him, what the Leafs haven't been able to do. And no surprise, we haven't gotten past the first round.
This is ultimate teamwork. This is what it's about, right? This is, what they all say. And on this day, no I in team, like it completely makes sense. So I ask you, Gurdeep, you're offered a job where you get paid equivalent to what he gets paid.
Okay.
Like 8% more of your salary, let's say. Okay. Do you take it, but you don't get to work with me?
Oh, come on. You can't put that on me.
Oh, you love the hypotheticals.
No, I'm staying with you because it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
I hope you're listening, Toronto Maple Leafs.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
I am having a very visceral March break flashback right now.
Oh, what was it? Were you playing outside?
No, I probably should have been. 8 years old, 9 years old, Friday night, getting dressed up, like the whole family getting a little spiffy, heading to the Olive Garden
Oh, the Olive
by
Garden.
Sherway Gardens.
Are there still any Olive Gardens? Or are they all gone?
None that I know of in the GTA. I think they're still like in Buffalo, you can hit it up.
Yeah.
But at that age, when I was a kid, I thought I was fancy. Like, we would get dressed up. I thought that was like, and no shade, but I thought that was like good, authentic Italian food.
Right.
Which,
we all did.
Yeah, I like chicken parm is not real Italian food, but we thought it was. We went to the Olive Garden.
Well, the fettuccine Alfredo at the time I thought was the best thing ever. The salad, the breadsticks.
The breaded ravioli they'd give you while you were waiting, because there was always a lineup. You knew
Yes.
you were waiting for like an hour. The mozzarella sticks, which also I don't think is very Italian.
I don't blame you for feeling fancy. That
Yeah.
was fancy
That-
for us back then.
That was and now there's so many good, authentic Italian restaurants that are fancy in the city. But when you're a kid and there weren't that many options, you got dressed up for the Olive Garden. I thought I was fancy.
You know what? I think there are a lot of things as kids that you could point to that you thought were fancy. And then maybe you grow up and you're like, I can't believe I thought that was fancy. I used to have a VHS tape rewinder. And like, yeah.
Wait, didn't the actual like VCR just rewind it?
No, but this one went at like crazy speeds. So
And it was a separate device?
It was a separate device that you plugged in. It was just a single VHS tape rewinder.
You were fancy because I didn't have that.
Yeah, it was real fancy. We got it from the States. And at the time that was like, oh my gosh, where did you get this? And if you rented a movie from anywhere, you would be able to like rewind it quickly before you returned it.
So you would take the video cassette out of your normal VCR,
Yes.
eject it, go put it in a separate device that was plugged in, rewind it in there, take it out of there, put it in the box, go return it to Jumbo
It was
Video.
lightning speed.
Wow.
Yeah.
You had what the rental places had.
Yes.
So like
Yes.
you were one of the
You-
rich families.
You were the elephant at Jumbo Video. she would also make popcorn for everyone on the street like Jumbo Video.
For some reason, like we have family in New York. Whenever we would go visit them, we'd always stop at this electronics store. And we also got, and this was also made me real fancy and popular with my friends, I got one of those red stiletto shoe phones.
Oh my God, me too.
Really?
No, absolutely not.
You like, do you remember those? And they even had like the phones that were see-through. They were like,
yeah.
That's the one I wanted. You could see all the wires inside of it. Those
Wow.
were so cool.
Those are, guys, that's like the clear stiletto of phones. It's like, I don't know if that's a road you want to go down.
I'm just saying, I was really fancy. I didn't have a lot of friends, but I was fancy.
Okay, can I tell you, now you're taking me down a whole different path of being fancy. Getting like a private, I didn't have this, but like on Full House and stuff, when DJ Tanner got like a private line on her phone.
Oh, yes.
I was like, she's so fancy. Now she can talk to like whoever she wants to and Danny Tanner won't know. That's so
Yeah.
fancy.
We had friends who had their own line. It was just for the kids. And we were like, you just must be rich.
My best friend, there was 5 kids, and she got her own line. And I looked at my parents. I'm like, "There's 5 kids. There's only 3. Why does she get her own line?"
Okay,
Yeah.
They were legit fancy. What are your thought I was fancy stories?
Don't even get me started on three-way calling.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
What are your I thought I was fancy stories? I'm having some serious March break nostalgia of getting dressed up with the family, going to Olive Garden on a Friday night. I'm like, ooh, Ooh, we fancy.
You're so fancy. We used to have a VHS tape rewinder that was just meant to rewind tapes. Like, that's how many.
That's wild that you had that.
We must have been renting a lot of movies.
That feels illegal. Like Jumbo Video and Blockbuster had those. You had them.
I had it. And I also remember having the stiletto shoe phone. It was a red stiletto shoe. Do you remember that from like the 90s?
Yeah, Totes had the same one.
Yeah, of course you did.
Of course I don't remember
I
that.
also had it in black.
Wow, why do you need two phones?
I'm not sure. I think one was for my sister, one was for me.
Oh, okay, so your sister had it in black. Okay.
But we thought we were fancy because they had those in the sitcoms.
It's very DJ Tanner. I love it. Text coming in at 981-981. Thought I was fancy. Anytime I went to a hotel and they had a pool, I'd say, oh, wow, this place is luxe, even if it was a Best Western off the highway. That's from Jordan in Mississauga.
It's so true. And usually, like, the pool wasn't very clean, but you didn't care.
All you cared about as a kid when your parents took you somewhere, like, does it have a pool?
Yes.
Does it have a hot tub? Oh, man.
So true. Sonia from Etobicoke writing, I thought I was high class because my family got the craft dinner that came with the pouch of liquid cheese. Instead of powder, you can do that?
I didn't know it came with liquid cheese. I only had the powder.
Maybe it was like for a time. Back in the 90s.
I thought it was fancy that my mom cut up hot dogs into my mac and cheese. I was like, ooh, this is elevated.
You are really fancy.
Daniel in Richmond Hill texting in to say, when I was a kid, I'd put club soda in a wine glass at home and tell my parents, I'll have the usual. Thought I was a high roller. Yo, we've all done that.
We have.
Like you put it in a fancy glass?
Yes. There was something about it because you wanted to be like your parents. You wanted to like seem that you were older.
Okay, can I tell you something? I like still do this. I have this like I have this chalice mug at home. And like I don't like drink as much alcohol as I used to, so sometimes on a Friday I'll pour like just like bubbly or something into there, and I'll drink it out of there because it feels like you know, I'll swirl it around.
Do you also say I'll have the usual to yourself?
Well, that's usually just me and coffee, so no. But it does feel nice. It feels elevated on a Friday.
Yeah. Well, you thought you were fancy when you were a kid, and you still think you're fancy. What's your thought I was fancy story? Let's go to Roya and Curtis.
When I was a kid, I wanted a Nike hat so bad. And my parents said no a million times. And then eventually they got my neighbor, like this 12-year-old boy, to draw a Nike sign onto a hat. So I thought I was everything.
What? Was it even good? Like, was the swoosh accurate?
No,
or?
they used like a little like blue ballpoint pen that you'd see at like a bank. But it worked. It totally worked.
Did you like rock it to school proudly and stuff?
You know what? We went to a Britney Spears concert, and I couldn't find my hat for a minute with my friend's parents. And I'm like, oh, man, I can't find my Nike hat. Help, help. It's a Nike hat. So they helped me find it. We find it. I'm sure they thought I was a loser. But anyway, we found my super cool Nike hat. So
yes. Wow. I love
fancy.
that you were also like, no, I don't care that it's not authentic. It's close enough.
It was close enough for a 7-year-old, for sure.
I love that so much. Roya, thanks so much for sharing.
Have a good day.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
I love this. It's Pi Day. Pi is in PI is in 3.14159. But we've done that. We've been down that road. We know I love
There's
math.
a song already.
Pi, I like pie. Okay, that's not how the song goes.
It's a great song.
It's a great song. It's very catchy. But I love what we're doing with this. It's Pi Day. And instead of talking math, we are going to crush a pie. We got a pizza in here.
Yeah, not just any pizza. Pizza that recently went viral, which in Australia, it's Bubba's Pizza that came out with this. They're like, okay, move over pineapple on pizza. Forget that debate. We got a new one for you. How about this? Orange on pizza.
Hold on. So basically, it's like a Hawaiian pizza with ham and pineapple, but you just sub out the pineapple for orange?
Yes. And
Okay.
they say it's delicious. The internet, not having it. There were a lot of responses. Someone said, send this to the Italians. Someone else said, straight to jail.
Wow.
Yeah.
But like Italians probably don't care for like, don't Italians think, Hawaiian pizza is also like not proper pizza?
I can't think that's the point. To send it to the Italians, they'll let you know, like, this isn't
they
pizza.
were already not on board with.
Yeah.
I will say before we try this, we have the slices here. I don't like pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, you're not
I love
not a
pineapple on its own. So we all have a slice here. Steph, Pooch, your son Ezio,
Mm-hmm.
Steph, is here. We're all going to try. We've got pizza with ham and orange slices. Pooch, we got you
The
what is it,
plant-based variety?
synthetic pepperoni. What is it?
Yes. Ooh, my mouth is watering.
Is
over
that?
my-
I was just going to say, is that allowed? I don't know if it's going to taste the same.
Probably
We
won't.
needed a salty meat. That's what they recommended.
Yes. Okay. So, like, and if you think about it, this combo's been done before. No, like ham and orange. Is that like
What?
No. Okay.
No.
Just me.
Where?
It's been done before.
Says the vegetarian. Okay. Ready? Let's go.
Okay.
One,
let's
two,
go.
three. Take a bite.
I like it.
But it tastes like pineapple pizza.
No, it's more citrusy.
And actually, it's not bad.
This is better than Hawaiian pizza. I
It
don't know why
tastes like
I know
Hawaiian
I'm
to me.
yelling, but I'm passionate about it. This is way better than
I
pineapple on
didn't
pizza.
think that orange and cheese, like the idea of those two going together, but it actually
It's
really
nice
works.
because when you bite into the orange, the juice comes out. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen with pineapple.
What? You're getting the wrong pineapple pizza because if pineapple's done wrong, it's awful. It is terrible.
I've had from many places, and it's not good.
But the ones that we've had in the past, when we get like good pineapple pizza, the pineapple is juicy, which
This is legit. I'm eating more.
It's pretty good. I'm going in for another bite. Never thought that would happen.
there's a place in Italy. It's in Napoli, and this guy makes pizza. It's a tiny little. I can't even remember the name of it right now, but it was on a Netflix documentary, and he does like these cool infusions on his pizza too. So Italy is getting better with putting like different things on their pizza. I've had like
Isn't that like sacrilege though?
Well, I don't know about pineapple. He does a pineapple one over there too, and it's apparently incredible.
Look,
but we
you're
put fruit. I know
Yeah.
we put fruit on our pizza. I've had pizza with figs and pears on it and stuff.
Ezio, what do you think, buddy? Do you like it?
I don't really taste the orange.
Did you actually eat any orange? You take it off. Yeah, okay.
Okay, there
It's
you
good.
go.
Ooh, how's the synthetic pep?
That one, not so much. But producer Steph, resident Italian,
I'm okay with
you're
it.
okay with it. Look at us.
Passes the
Try
test.
it.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
I know March break is almost over. It's not over yet.
Don't do it. Still got a full weekend.
Almost. I mean, look, the kids probably don't want it to be over. The parents, I don't know. I guess you have to ask parents how they feel about it. Maybe they really enjoyed this bonding time with their kids.
Sure.
A lot of people take it off.
Yeah.
Or maybe this was like, okay, I have a whole new appreciation for teachers and you
Yeah.
need to go back to school.
Because like parents take it off, so it's technically a vacation from their work. But like, is it a vacation if you got to like deal with your kids? I mean, you get
Deal
to hang
with?
with your kids. It's a privilege.
So how is it going, I guess, is the question. And is there anything that you learned about your kids on this March break? Because I feel like I thought I knew my kids pretty well, and I'm noticing that they are such creatures of routine, even still at this age, they're 2.5, that when they're not at school, they still do all the exact same things. They nap at the exact same time. Like everything is the same. I thought it might be off a little.
Right.
Because we're not being as strict with it, but no.
Okay, so you learned that Sia and Bodhi are creatures of habit at
Yes.
2.5. Steph, you've been spending a lot of time with your kids. You've been here all week, but you've been spending a lot of time with your kids this week. Have you learned anything about your kids? And we should mention your son Ezio is here in studio with us today.
He is. So I usually spend a lot of time with my kids, even outside of March break. They're both. So my daughter's already a teenager. Ezio's turning 13 in August.
Nice.
I've learned that they're very tired and lazy. More
Wow.
than usual.
Wow.
Which
you
I
didn't
get it.
know
It's
this before March break?
Well, I do, but I figure like, I don't know, because usually when I ask them to do stuff, it's towards the weekend. So it's like nobody wants to like, fold laundry and help out on the weekends, but it's all week. It's all week. And they're tired and they don't stop sleeping. And then they're up till like 3 a.m. when I'm getting up to go to work. I'm like, what's happening?
What are they tired from doing?
I don't know. What are you tired from doing? Come here. What are you tired? What are you doing?
Staying up.
Staying up, Ezio says.
Breathing.
I mean, honestly, isn't that just what kids that age
I
do? My
guess
my
so.
nephews are the same, man. They wake up at like 2 p.m. on March
But
break.
so this is like a different March break for me because they're at that age. Before them, they were younger. They would go to sleep properly still, and then we'd get up, we'd do activities. Now
There's
it's
all
like
this
trying
energy.
Yeah, trying
Yeah.
to get them to do something. Like I'm tired.
Okay, so to recap, Pooch learned Sia and Bodhi are creatures of habit at 2.5. You learned that your son and daughter, aged 15 and 12, are lazy and tired.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We want to
What'd
know
you learn, Gurdeep?
I learned. Coffee the Pooch really, really does not like fire alarms.
Oh, no.
My daughter, Coffee the Pooch, the fire alarm went off Wednesday night at 9 p.m., which is great. We were sleeping, and she was shaking and hyperventilating for 45 minutes after the fact. There's been fire alarms before, but she calms down right away. So I had to Google how to calm down a hyperventilating dog. It turns out you swaddle them, talk to them in a calm voice, and just rub their belly. It's kind of what I do anyways.
Wow. That works on kids, too.
Yeah, well, they're basically human. We want to know, what did you learn about your kids this March break?
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
So it's the end of March break. It's not quite over, but it's
Don't
almost
end it
over.
before it's over, Pooj.
I know.
There's still all of today, all of tomorrow. There's 3 days left.
I know. But I'm wondering, for parents.
You're like the back to school ads that start playing in July. Stop it.
I'm the back to school ads. It's like it's the most wonderful
Yes,
time.
you are.
Yes. As the kids go back, I'm thinking if you're being reflective this week, how did it go with your kids? Was there something that stood out to you that you learned about your kids that maybe you didn't realize before, but after spending all this time together this week, it was like very evident?
Something you learned about your kids during March break. What was it for you?
I just learned my kids are still like really creatures of habit. They love routine, and I thought maybe being at home that would, not be the case.
Sure.
No, they follow the routine completely. Now they're at that age, so I wonder if that will change as they get older.
They've only been in school for a few months, so it's actually kind of impressive they stuck to routine during March break. Steph, you got two kids, 15 and 12. In fact, your 12-year-old son, Ezio, shout out Ezio, he's here with us in studio. What did you learn about your kids during March break?
It does change, Pooja. It does change. I miss the days of routine. There's no more routine.
No.
Yeah, my daughter's already a teenager. My son's almost 13, and they just want to sleep. And then and because I'm still working this week, they're up till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and then I go home, and then they're sleeping till like noon. And I want to do stuff with them, but they're tired and they're lazy.
Ezio, you're up till 3 in the morning. What are you doing? Playing video games?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's honestly just like my nephews.
It is.
They're up playing 2K.
Yeah.
What are you playing? 2K?
Yeah. I don't
That's
even.
it.
What are you playing? He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know anything that he can actually just play on his phone or on the PlayStation. He's good.
The fact that he didn't answer makes me think he's not actually playing video games.
We'll talk about that
answer
later.
was a little
That's
sus.
for another time. We're asking you.
How old are you again?
I'm learning that my child is keeping secrets.
You learned that your kids know how to lie. Yeah. We're getting some great texts to 981-981.
Doug from Peterborough writing, teachers don't get paid enough. I used to know this in theory. Now, after 7 days, can you get me a snack? I know it in my soul. Oh, yeah.
So Doug's just been dealing with kids who are like, feed me.
Yeah.
How about now?
I need a snack.
Kathy in Durham texting in saying, I thought March break would be a fun time to bond with my kids. Turns out it was just an intense week-long negotiation about screen time. Oh, yeah. I think every parent listening can probably vibe with that.
They're all nodding their heads right now.
You have not introduced the screens to your kids yet, right?
No.
Smart.
In
I'm
fact-
impressed you've held off this long.
Well, every time that I'm on my phone, I'll just go in the other room because I don't want them to think it's important.
Did you read that in like a parenting book? Because that sounds like sage advice.
I heard it from someone, yeah.
Yeah, that seems super smart. I like that.
Sabina in Toronto saying, I've heard, Mom, watch this, approximately 4,387 times. I watched. It was the same cartwheel every time.
That's the best. Although I do miss the age of when my nephews were young enough where they'd be like, Chachi, they call me Chachi, like, Chachi, watch this, watch that.
Yeah.
Because now, they don't do that.
Now they're just
now they don't care.
Now they just grunt. They just go,
Like, what's up? Pamela from Etobicoke texting in, our house went through enough glitter, slime, and Lego bricks to open a chaotic, mildly dangerous toy store. Thank you, Pamela.
You know what, Pamela? My house looks like a daycare. It just does. That's what happens.
You normally keep an immaculate house. And I'd still say for 2.5-year-olds, it's pretty immaculate. I was at your place on Saturday, although I did notice there was some Crayola crayon writing on your blinds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I noticed that
Yeah.
one too. Yeah. You learn you can't have nice things.
That's a tough look. Yeah.
Queenie from North York writing, I tried planning fun activities, but apparently nothing competes with watching YouTube videos of other kids playing with toys we already own.
Thank you, Queenie. Why is this a thing? Why do kids watch other kids playing with toys? It's like with video games too. You watch other people play video games. I'm like, you have the game, just play it.
Just play.
That's one thing I don't get because we didn't have access to YouTube and the internet when we were kids. I don't get why this is a thing.
I don't understand, but Queenie, I feel for you. Not looking forward to that happening in my household.
No, you're holding off on screen time. Good for you, though. Maddie from Orangeville, we'll finish on this one, says, the first day was cute. By day 5, I was fantasizing about sitting in traffic alone.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.